If you thought acting was the only way of telling a story, think again. Gymnastics is one of the most physically expressive ways to tell a story, and in this video, we've got some of the best storytellers. From the legendary Nadia Comăneci to the pace-setting Julianne McNamara, these are the vintage beauties who ruled gymnastics in the 80s. Many know Nadia Comăneci as one of the most talented gymnasts ever with different records, some of which are unbreakable. But did you know she almost became a ballerina? Okay, let's take it from the top. Nadia Comăneci was born on November 12, 1961 in Onesti, Romania. She was an energetic child. Her mother was always looking for a way to get her daughter to use that energy, and when Belia Caroli came along asking that Nadia join his experimental gymnastics school, her mother allowed it. At this time, the iconic gymnast was 6 years old, and Caroli only discovered her by luck. Caroli was looking for talented youngsters for his upcoming gymnast school. He saw two girls doing cartwheels in a schoolyard. Struck by their grace, Caroli decided to meet those girls, but he could only get one of them, and that was Nadia Comăneci. The other girl retained her grace and became a top ballerina in Romania. By 7, Comăneci's journey began as a student with Caroli and his wife. Her talent was apparent, and by 8, she started to compete with her hometown team. Caroli's training began to yield results as by 9, Comăneci won the Romanian Nationals and became the youngest person to do so. The gymnast was just starting, and the next things she achieved would blow your mind. When she became 10, the legendary gymnast began to represent her country in junior competitions, and in her first international competition, she did it. Nadia won her first all-round title and contributed to the team gold in the dual junior meet between Romania and Yugoslavia. The gymnast continued to compete locally and internationally, including in the American Cup in March of 1976. There, she did what few gymnasts could do. She scored a 10 and met the man she would eventually marry, Bart Conner, although she didn't truly take note of him during that encounter. Then she got a rival. The 1976 Olympics was approaching, and Comăneci was ready and wanted to compete. She participated in the pre-Olympic test event in Montreal and showed why she was different. She won gold all around and at the balance beam, and silvers at the vault, floor, and bars. As great as her performance was, another gymnast outdid her. Nellie Kim, who was more accomplished, won gold in those events. The competition between her and Comăneci had just begun, and we'll show you the battles these two had. The 1976 Olympics came, and Comăneci had to compete with the best of the best. There was gymnast Olga Korbut, who had performed masterfully in the 1972 Olympics, and her rival at the pre-Olympics, Nellie Kim. Who do you think prevailed? Comăneci did what many thought was impossible. She got a perfect 10 at the Olympic Games, but there was a problem. Omega SA, the official Olympic scoreboard manufacturers, didn't program the board to reach 10 because it was informed no gymnast would ever get the score. She did, and repeated it 6 more times, winning gold medals for the individual all-around, the balance beam, and uneven bars. The athlete returned to her country a legend. She outperformed her rival Kim and outshone Olga Korbut. Unfortunately, the gymnast lost it all. She gained weight, and her country moved her from Caroli. The actress missed her coach, and with her failing performances, she took a dark step. Nadia tried to kill herself in 1978. Fortunately, she survived and returned to Caroli, but her situation got worse. Her coach defected in 1981. What happened then? The Romanian government prevented her from traveling so she wouldn't do the same. Nadia felt trapped, and because she couldn't travel out of the country, she couldn't make extra money. The situation got too much for the legendary gymnast, but she decided that she would live this time. In 1984, the gymnast saw her coach at the Olympics, which America hosted. However, it wouldn't be a happy reunion. Caroli had a new protege, Lou Retton, who got into gymnastics because of Nadia. But Nadia couldn't even talk to her or Caroli because the Romanian government watched her. Nadia felt miserable, but she had decided. She knew what to do. On the night of November 27, 1989, the legendary gymnast fled from Romania and built a life for herself in America. She married Bart Conner and gave birth to a son, Dylan. the gymnast she inspired would also go on to achieve great things. Mary Lou Retton became an American sweetheart with her gymnastics. She left a legacy and created a move that would be named the Retton Flip and then became public enemy number 1. Mary got involved in a dark controversy that would consume her. When Mary was born on January 25, 1968 in Fairmont, West Virginia, she had a problem. She was born with hip dysplasia, a condition that increased her risk of getting joint dislocations in her hip. So she was at a disadvantage when it came to athleticism. However, Mary didn't let this stop her from becoming a gymnast when she saw Nadia Comăneci's brilliant performance in the 1976 Olympics. Mary was 8 at the time, and immediately she went to train under coach Gary Rafalowski. Then Mary heard the news. She found out that Romanians Bella and Marta Caroli, who had coached her idol Nadia Comăneci, had defected to America. So off she went to Texas to train under them. This would be one of the best decisions she would ever make. In 1983, she won the American Cup. That same year, she was second to her fellow Caroli student, Diane Durham. Just as her streak was hot, Mary injured her wrist, and her progress was threatened. Was this the end of our bright star? Because of this, she couldn't compete in the 1983 World Gymnastics Championships. After her wrist healed, Retton was back at it like she never left. She competed in the 1983 American Classic and won. She was just getting started. She won another American Cup in 1984, and when the U.S. Olympic trials came, she was ready until she wasn't. Retton injured her knees during an autograph session, and her goal of performing in the Olympics like her idol went up in flames. Or did it? Retton wasn't the type to give up. It was the first time the United States would host the Summer Olympics in 52 years. She was one of their best gymnasts, and she vowed to be there. But first, Retton had to undergo surgery and recover within a month, as the 1984 Summer Olympics were just 5 weeks away. She recovered just in time, but the big question was, would she be able to perform? Retton found herself in a heated battle with Romania's Ekaterina Sabo and was trailing her by 0.15 with 2 events remaining. Retton needed something to beat Szabo, and could she even produce a better performance? But Retton was used to challenges. In the last event, she got perfect 10s and eventually won the all-around gold medal by 0.05 points. Retton had created history. By defeating Szabo, Retton became the first female gymnast from outside Eastern Europe to win the individual all-round gold. The gymnast also became the first American woman to be an Olympic all-round champion. After the Olympics, the gymnast competed in the American Cup and won it. Then in 1986, she retired. Retton got married in 1990 and gave birth to 4 daughters. In 2016, she made one of the biggest mistakes of her life. The iconic gymnast tried to get Senator Dianne Feinstein from dropping her young victims from sexual abuse and Safe Sport Authorization Act. When it made the news, Retton became public enemy number 1. Has she ruined her reputation for good? Maybe. But when she needed the help of Americans when she fell sick with pneumonia in 2023, they gave her what she needed. They crowdfunded for her to get medical treatment since she didn't have health insurance. Isn't it odd that the legendary gymnast can't afford health insurance? Did she spend all the money she made as a gymnast, or did America not pay her well? Let us know what you think. Julianne McNamara was born on October 11, 1965 in New York. While her career wasn't on the level of the previous 2 we mentioned, it was pretty illustrious. In 1980, she won the U.S. all-around title. Unfortunately, when she had the opportunity to compete in the Olympics, America pulled out because of politics. Russia was hosting the Summer Olympics at the time, and their relationship with America was frosty. Although it was disappointing, McNamara got a congressional gold medal later. But she would get her chance to compete with the best in 1981 during the World Championships Russia hosted. McNamara gave a strong performance. However, unlike the other 2 gymnasts we've shown you earlier, McNamara's best only earned her bronze medals on the bars, a 7th on the floor, and finished 5th on the beam. She got the 7th position in the all-round competition, which was the highest for U.S. women then. The iconic gymnast hoped to build on her 1981 World Cup, but something happened. While performing in the all-round competition, McNamara fell off the bars and painfully finished. However, she made up for this with her vault performance, which earned her a bronze. At the next World Championship, McNamara's performance was worse by her own standards. Was that the end for her? No. McNamara had one more in her, and she unleashed it completely at the 1984 Olympic Games in Los Angeles. At that Olympics, McNamara competed fiercely, scoring a perfect 10 and tying China's Ma Yanghong for first on the uneven bars. McNamara also got silver on the floor and was fourth all around. After that Olympics, the athlete quit performing on the formal stages before eventually retiring in 1987. McNamara ended her career well, but what made her popular wasn't the medals she won. This legend was the one that helped make the U.S. women's gymnastic team popular internationally in the early 80s. After retiring from gymnastics, McNamara continued to chase stardom. She switched her career to acting, and she acted in television shows such as Charles in Charge and Knight Rider. This iconic gymnast went to UCLA and met baseball player Todd Zell, with who she eventually married and had 4 kids. Brandy Johnson. Born on April 30, 1973 in Tallahassee, Brandy Johnson became a Browns Gymnastic Club member in Orlando, Florida. When she was a member, the incredible athlete showed her stuff at the 1986 Junior Olympics National Championships. She won the all-around, vault, floor exercise, and balance beam titles. With that kind of performance at the Junior Olympics, the athlete bought her place in the U.S. National Championships. She gave a dazzling performance and won the all-around gold medal in their junior division. Then she was ready. Johnson represented the United States in the Chunichi Cup in Japan. In that competition, she finished 12th place. Now Johnson was ready to level up, so she went to Marta and Bella Karolyi for training. With experienced coaches by her side, she joined the United States gymnastics team for the 1988 Olympics in Seoul by finishing 6th in the 1988 U.S. Nationals and 4th at the Olympic trials. At the Olympics, the gymnast finished 10th all-around and 5th on the vault under the old rules. After the Olympics, Johnson returned to Browns. This decision would lead to a major issue for her, but let's save that for later. The super athlete continued her excellent performance and dominated the 1989 U.S. National Championships. She wound up winning every competition apart from the uneven bars. That same year, she was part of the United States team at the World Artistic Gymnastic Championship. Individually, she came in 7th all-round and 2nd at vault, and the U.S. came 4th as a team. The gymnast also had an excellent 1990, but unfortunately, she didn't qualify for the Goodwin Games. She could compete as an alternate but refused when the USGF offered her. Then she got an opportunity to replace an injured gymnast, Erica Stokes, on the team, but she also refused. At that point, she made a shocking revelation. She claimed it was her former coach, Bella Karolyi, who made sure she wouldn't qualify for the event in the first place. According to Johnson, Bella Karolyi knew Stokes was injured and hid it to prevent Johnson from competing. Looks like Bella wasn't so pleased that Johnson left. Johnson retired from gymnastics that year and transitioned to working as a stunt double. Daniela Silivas. There was a scandal with how Daniela Silivas rose, and that scandal only came to be because of how talented this gymnast was. Silivas was born in Deva, Romania on May 9, 1972. Like Nadia Comăneci, Silivas also began gymnastics at 6 and shared the same coach with Nadia, Bella Karolyi, before he defected to the United States. Bella Karolyi's departure didn't derail Silivas' progress. She began to win at 8, starting with her school's championships in 1980. After that year, the gymnast competed in the Romanian Junior National Championship and won 2 years in a row. After conquering her country, the sensational athlete set her sights on Europe, competing in the 1984 Junior European Championship. She won gold and silver in that event, and in that next one she competed that same year, she packed gold medals. Daniela Silivas' journey had begun, but her country couldn't wait to get her to begin her senior career, so Romania played a trick. They changed Silivas' age from 13 to 15 so she could participate in senior competitions. When Daniela Silivas competed in the 1985 World Cup, she scored a 10 and got the gold medal for her performance on the balance beam. She competed against the more established Ekaterina Szabo, who was her teammate, and defeated her. In the 1986 World Cup, she continued from where she had stopped and became the new leader of the Romanian gymnastics team. She helped her country defeat the Russian team in the 1987 World Championships in Rotterdam. It was one of the difficult moments as a gymnast, as she had shaky moments during her performance. The gymnast performed excellently in the 1988 Olympics in Seoul, winning 7 perfect scores and equaling Nadia Comăneci's record in 1976. After a career that saw her win 24 perfect 10s, Silivas retired from gymnastics in 1991. She then moved to the United States, settling in Atlanta. That's it on this video about the most popular gymnast. Which one of them do you remember, and which one of them is your favorite? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more.